Alright guys, this here's Elm Creek. I'm gonna pull a few things from it. I'm thinking more down the lines, just the fences and maybe some of the buildings. But as you can see, not everything's good. That's the texture issue that a lot of people are having. Converting maps and everything, you'd have to make this grass work with 22 and then obviously the dirt layers and everything. So that's all saying it's a different material. But I'll be running down the lines of going through a couple maps and seeing what looks good with 22 until we get some more buildings. And possibly working on some roads also. I can't remember where a lot of these buildings even came from. I think some of them, most of them, were converted over from 17, which No Creek doesn't have many buildings on it. I was thinking of just grabbing the freestyle here, but I don't know that I will. Now, and this is what somebody previously put in for the selling station and stuff. So see how all this stuff is actually looking in game. I don't even know if they put a building shader on it or not. Of course, you highlight stuff, that's what you get. I wish GE would just let you click on things like it used to. And then you can come over here to your scene graph and see quite a bit more. We'll pull up the material editing screen and see what shaders put on here, and there's nothing. So snap over to your game files and see what all happens. That was with the foundation, so let's actually get into like the walls and trim. No, roof would be a good one. That's easy to see what happens. And that's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. We're just gonna have to go down to a newer map with better textures. And the only thing I wanted to grab, if I can remember where they're at in the field, are the tile stand-ups. Which, there's one. And there's multiple of them in the scene graph, but I'm just going to grab them out. So I'll export selection with files and put it wherever you want. I like to put it right in the map that I'm working on. Oh, that was the wrong folder again. And I click in right into my map i3D area. And we'll just name it that. Tile quick. Parent structure, no. Keep relative game paths, yes. Then that's all I need from here. And I think we're going to scan a few more of these to see what they were. I can't. West by had a good barn on it, but JMF modding's pretty much got the one similar to it in. We'll go into West Texas. I think there's a couple buildings on here. I don't know if they're old or not, but this is the map I'm working on. And right now she's got no name. Nothing is set in stone either, as in really just the roads, and that's it. Everything else will be up to me and whatever I feel like. I guess the drainage ditch, and we will be, or I will be showing you guys how to do some uh, terrain by spline. I got to get these roads in. As you can see, they're not perfect. We need a lot of smoothing done on them yet. And when you do smoothing, you lose a lot of detail on them. And then where this gravel road is, it wasn't perfect for my DEM. So it picked this part of the road up. This part of the road is slightly elevated. And then the ditch here. And what I'll be doing is placing a spline down this gravel road to bring the whole thing up and make the road, put a little ditch over here, and then we will be doing that once I get the spline in and everything smoothed out. And then this is some more details from the DEM there, the real world terrain, just the way it brought it in. So the easiest way is to just smooth it when you get the terrain editing window up. And this is all your elevation stuff right up here. This is your texture painting area, mesh painting for like trees, if it works. Mine doesn't work. Then your foliage and your info. Farmlands is the one it usually starts with, your seasons mask and all that stuff. You see trees in there because I'm using the tree script and actually placing my trees in that way just to get a randomization of it, making it look good. But my biggest thing right now that I want to work on is building a nice dairy farm is what I'd like to do today, and then we'll go in game and test it out. So middle mouse button is my smooth, and I'm just gonna get this area, messed that one up. I'm just gonna get this area all smoothed out, and I'm pretty much just gonna focus on this little corner, this one little field area, so to speak, down here during this video. Keep it simple, keep it short, keep it tight, and we won't have to worry too much. As long as my stream holds out with the internet and everything, we should be sitting pretty good. And let me look one quick here. I guess if you guys can hear me, go ahead and let me know, because YouTube's telling me the volume isn't quite there. But I think I'm just going to leave it alone and not mess with that. So there's many different ways you guys can do your fields. It's all personal preference. And since I do have a real world terrain in, and you can see the roads, I painted the roads by hand in GE because the detail was there. If you get lucky enough and you get your photo and everything to line up perfect to your terrain, then it's pretty easy to paint in paint.net or GIMP. And with that being said, you just got to get everything lined up and lined up perfectly. But then I did put these fields in by paint.net. It's pretty easy once you get your corners marked out, you got your gravel roads and all that stuff in, you'll be able to plop them right in. Now, to get rid of fields, I need to make sure I got that always set to subtract. I moved the right mouse button around on what it likes to do. But then terrain detail is what you're looking for. I always hit Control R. It'll bring me up to what I already have placed down. So that way, with the right mouse button click to subtract, it'll get rid of this area. Since I'm doing such a big area, sometimes it takes a bit for GE to catch up to. And I do not see West Texas opening. So we'll try to get this to open again. While we wait, I'll come back into here. And I want to get the dairy in first. If I can find a good dairy barn that I like, I'll put that down first. Otherwise, I don't know how I want to go about it. As you can see here over on the left in the scene graph, I do have a couple splines already in, but I'm going to go and create a new one. Create spline. I'll pop it right in here for you. And with that being said, I'm going to Control B, bring it right over. Where you do it on the main part of the spline doesn't matter to a point. Some scripts throw a fit. I always try to keep it that origin from the very beginning. And then you zoom in here far, it'll take your circle down and you'll see your 2 points. The center point is tied in with the center red square right now. You want to click on one of these points, and once you're clicked on it, you'll be able to navigate it with the arrow keys. And as you can see, I got 3 points. Now for this gravel road, I'm going to shoot down over here. This is just the easiest way for me to do it, and you can all find your own way. And I try to place the point in the center. Now you see how I got a little jaunt in the road that needs to be there. So with this one, I only need 3 points. Oh, West Texas is trying to come up. I'm only going to do 3 points. So if you have more points, more hills, more terrain variance, and everything else, you obviously want to put down more points. And you do that by clicking Insert on your keyboard. So I think that's the right one. And if it's not, I'll show you here quick. If it's not the right one, we'll go back, throw that one there. And say you grab the start. You see how it gives you 2 white lines and it throws it all weird? That will really mess you up. So I want to make sure I got that one in the right order, so I got no weird jags in it, and it doesn't throw a fit. Now that looks pretty close to center on that point, and you can take the spline completely away from the parent part of it. You know, if you click back up to here, I can move the entire spline and leave that right where it's at. So then usually what I do is I run my, let's bring up the script editor. I usually do this in the other window so I can actually watch what happens. But here are a couple different scripts I use on a regular basis. And I am going to run the paint train by spline. And we will have to battle it out to see what is the texture colors, or texture numbers I should say, of this, and place it down accordingly. I'll move that back just a little bit to try to get my gravel texture to pop in. Half of width. It tells you a lot of how to do it here. And right now I got the center one. All right, so we're just going to hit execute. And that's what I thought. I forgot I was on the drainage ditch part of it. So I'm going to run back a few textures, and I think it was 5. And good question. And it goes by every layer in here and what number they are. So that's the hardest part. And I'm just going to throw some in to try all 3. Not going to save it at this moment. So therefore, we got grass in the center, which is actually not bad at all. And I think that's gravel and grass on the left. And that looks like that looks like concrete texture. And I'm not going to run with that. But the biggest thing with this is once we get it set, we can figure out our width. And then also figure out our points, because when we do our terrain by spline, it'll run off of these points too, and they kind of bounce back and forth and throw it side to side. So just to get it close, and right side was 5. So I'm going to come back up here and see. We'll minimize this quick. Run over to terrain, layer manager, and I want to make sure that I'm actually grabbing these right. Actually, I think they are wrote wrong in here from Giants themselves. So by that I mean like riverbed is actually pointing to what was that? Oh, maybe they fixed that with that update. Maybe they did. I can't remember. But they were pointing to the wrong layers. And then double check everything here. Alright. There it is. These are what I'm trying to get to, is the combined layers. So it doesn't have it all point in one direction. It's kind of, you see the dirt is actually dirt 01, 02, 03, 04. And those are the ones I'm trying to get to. So I'm just going to close that. We'll go back to our spline. Get click back on that. And where'd my other window go? West Texas. Oh, that's why. I was opening it up in the wrong Giants editor. Should have been clicking 8.2.2. Now it'd probably pop up on me at a bad time. But I'm going to up the right number to, like I said, pop up on me at the bad time. Alright. Come on now. Alright. So we're just going to get this up there to 75. Center texture was grass. So let's put that to like 35. And I'm just going to put the 15 there so I can remember. I'm not going to save again. Slow my speed down, nav speed down a bit. Get it a little closer. And then we're going to pop back in with the center texture. Hit 55 there. Let's go to 80 there. Alrighty. There's got to be a way that it counts them. And I think this is what it is. But I don't know where the combined layers are. This is all your mud pathway and all that, but you don't have combined layers here, so that's what I'm trying to figure out. At least it opened up with fast nav speed. I'll shove that to the side quick. Those actually don't look too bad. I mean, I don't know how he's getting the grain up here, but whatever. Personal thoughts. Hmm. This is what I wanted to look at, see if there are any buildings. We already got our commodity sheds out with real tin texture and design. So I'm not going to be pulling those out. And then, honestly though, how's this all connected? It's concrete slab. Looks like he stretched it also. If I bring it back in, that looks too much. Right there. That looks pretty good. I'm gonna export this quick. Same way. And I'm just gonna do concrete curb. Try to remember what everything is. And then I want these feeder rails. They actually look pretty good. But I don't know if I'll take them. I was thinking about using Western Iowa's feed bunk, or I should say the K-rail feeder off his cow shed that he made. But those don't look too bad. I mean, by the time you put the cow feed out here and everything, those really don't look too bad. They're just a little long for me. I will take it just because. Cow guard. And then, oh, that was so close. I mean, in the right spot, it doesn't look bad. It almost looks like it's actually raising. But I don't like the design of the full building. This is my biggest issue with a lot of stuff from 19. It's all flat. What fence is that? I think the in-game files actually have that same fence. I'd have to look, but those wires aren't going to work because there's 5 of them there. And I don't have the separated ones. Chain link fence. That looks nice. I'll have to remember that. Biggest thing I want to do, I think that was the only part on here that was cows. It's the feedlot that we just came from. And I know most of this came from Flint Hills that we're looking at right now. Pretty sure that was from 17 also. The ethanol plant. I don't know if who actually made that back then or what. And I really want to get to the point that I wait for a lot of the new stuff coming out by the modders. Just got to give them time. Ooh, a nice substation would be cool to put in. Those are the big power poles. Where did it? There's the little ones. I wonder how this is all put together. That is kind of the pole that I wanted with the little pads on it. Oh, there's the wires. Big thing is I'm looking to see if the wires are separated to use in uh the what am I trying to say? The fencing script. So that way you can place these down by spline and then run your fencing script, which will place the wires from pole to pole. I don't like those textures that much. And it looks like he pulled the shop from Flint Hills too. And I'm not sure about the buildings in the town. Honestly, I'll probably be going in to Elm Creek and pulling that out. So I'm going to hop out of West Texas and we're just going to go in and actually get Elm Creek opened up. So you want to go where your game files are, come into Maps, Map US, and then you're going to double click on your Map i3D. Make sure you open it in the right editor if you have more than one installed. And I'll jump back over and keep working on this one. I really should have figured this stuff out beforehand. Okay. So 65 is also grass, but I'm pretty sure it blends them a bit better, is the difference. So now that I know about where I'm at, I should be getting close. Just doing the center textures easier to see. It should be the combined layers that I'm in now. So gravel will be coming up here soon. Or should be. I'm not saying it will, but it should be. Let's skip one. I probably skipped the one I was looking for. Like usual. That's the one I was looking for. So 68, 65. Change this one to 65. Go no. And it does change it. Not much, but it does. And then I'm going to go save. It's going to throw that freaking error saying it's not a PNG, which I still have yet to figure out what script's wrong. Elm Creek did open, so we'll leave that there. Minimize that. So it does go all the way off to where you got your beginning of the spline open. That's why it brought the grass textures all the way back into the center there. So all I'm going to do is fly down this and make sure. And if you see where the spline is actually under the ground like that, it's going to move it down. So I am going to insert some more points in and lift that up a bit. So you hit insert or not, back, move it around a bit. There it is. See, I got a couple more points now. So I'm going to come up here. Since the white line did go underneath the train, I'm going to insert it and put it in. When you click insert, it goes. See how it went back here? So usually you're pretty good. That just needs to be leveled. So then I'm going to click around with my arrow keys until I get back down there. And bring this one up here. Insert again. Did not go the right way. And I think that's just because it's not perfectly smoothed yet, is why it's still under there a bit. But when we lift it up, it brings it about perfect. And then you can always come back to the side, and you should always see your white line. It's highlighted right now. But I mean, if it was a big hill, you'd see the points and everything. Kind of look at it a couple different ways. Double check that you like where they're placed again by running the paint train. And I am going to hit save, which takes a little bit. There's not too much on this map yet, but it does take a bit. While I'm waiting, I'm going to go look at Elm Creek quick. Where am I? Oh, up in this top corner. Yeah, I still have yet to actually come around and look through this completely, but that is a pretty nice sail barn that they did up here. I mean, let's be real here. What's it actually called? Wow. Let's click on this once and see what it all has in there with it. Wow, really? I mean, you get a couple unwanted fences, but those should be easy to get out. Yeah, right here. And then it even brings some props in, which, okay. I'm going to grab this from right here. We'll deal with the fences later. I'm going to file, export selection of files, and just do sail barn. And no. And yes. So now that i3D is sitting there. And then right there's the shop. And honestly, if I just grab this, that would work for me right now. What's that all bring in? What's the attachments? Okay. And lamps, which are you kidding me? I didn't even notice that that was a working light. Interesting. Oh, they got a showroom too, and an office. Oh, that's actually considered the office. Interesting. I was wondering what that was all about. Even though you don't go over there to order anything, I mean, I think it would have been cool if Giants went over there, made you go over here, ordered it, and then you got to pick it up out in their lot. And if they would have had a few other things sitting out there, you know. But the showroom here, they didn't complete everything. And I don't think I'm going to go with that. I think I'm just literally going to grab the service. Export all with files. And go. Actually, I want dealer. No. Yes. And then where's the cow farm? Search for it quick. I'm pretty sure they had a couple good buildings. Actually wrote in for the cow farm. Hit F. You'll fly right into it. Nope. Okay, so scroll down. Interesting. I can't remember what it was named. And I'm not going to remember where it was at. So I'll just back out of that. It was one of the hill ones. I think it was up. Nope, I'm turned around. It was up here somewhere. They actually named them what they would be. Because I know the one to my right would actually be considered the sheep farm. And that's decorations. Get out of that. Get out of the trees. They didn't even name all that stuff. Alright. Where were those two silos? Never mind. It's down here, isn't it? Remember what it looks like. Goes to show how much I actually played this map, which wasn't very much. It was a good looking map, but huh. That farm was all taken. Is that one all dynamically loaded? Must be. So with that being said, it's not going to show up. I'm looking for those two silos because honestly, I've seen it. Just can't remember where it was. What do they name these things? Farm silos. There it is. Nope. Still the wrong one. Must have dynamically loaded them in. I seen them some other time when I was messing around, unless I deleted them. Are those the bends that are actually in game, or are those a little different? I think they're slightly different. They would have put a conveyor on top coming across with a little down pipe from that one and put a little auger that brings it back. Just done it up a little bit more. Ooh, hey, they're power poles. They're dang close. And they're cut low, so let's see what's this all about. You don't even get the stand-up wires. It's pretty sweet. So you grab that pole. That's the end pole. Ooh, with all the wires on it. Okay, so I'm gonna grab that one out and export it right into the other map and name it literally what they did, end pole. And then since I don't want them all to look that way, I'm gonna grab this one also. Go export and do power pole. and then see if they got any wires that are separated. I don't think they are. I think I'm going to have to find my own wires. And then, alright, let's get back into my actual map. So with this spline the way we got it now, I like it so far. I think I need to change my width on it a bit. I already got that window open. So with that, we are going to go center width. Because this is the overall, right? Let me make it a bit bigger. Yeah. Side count would be the total width, depending on how wide you want it. And I think I'm going to do the center at 4. Like I said, I like to move it out on the side so I can actually watch it change. Otherwise, it's hard to notice at times if it actually changed or not. And then you know which way to go. It looks a little wide, but there might be a chance that I end up putting paving on this. So I'd like it to be a little wider. And I mean, if you really wanted to paint it in all yourself, you just grab your toggle your layers on, pick the layer you want. Oh, come on now. Work with me here, Giants. Because this is the block system that sucks. So you go one more that way and one more that way. That's where you'd be. I don't think I want to do that because I want the grass up there as an edge. So now that I got my spline right, I'm going to go back into my script editor window. I'm going to click over here, set terrain by spline. We're just going to click and save because I got that exactly how I want it for the next spot. Gives me a little error. This one is pretty well the same thing. And it does ditches, so you read through this stuff and figure out set to half width overall. I want to knock that down to, what was I at? 3. And offset height would be for your ditches. I don't think I'm going to do that one here because the ditches are kind of in already and I want to just leave it the way it is. So the best thing to do is to get down about here, hit execute. I'm not going to save, and it actually kicked that up over. But it puts in a really smooth road. Best way I usually do to check, you should see the center line bounce. Where is that bigger spot? Right here. It usually bounces, but now I got plenty of room to come back through and smooth that off. So it's not just a sharp edge. And then even hit smoothing down the center. It does help a little bit. You don't need to do it a lot. And I usually run it right along the edge. And then, like I said, right back down the center, you want to blend it just a little bit back into where you already were. And when you get into flat spots like this, it's a pain in the butt to see, especially when you don't have any foliage down. And then burn right up here. And then burn down the center ones. And with your transitions in between the blocks moving over a little bit, you'll have to mess with that. Try to get it somewhat smooth, which isn't always the case. I'm going to save that quick. So my roads will be uniform. But the best way I can tell you to do this is to literally snap it with the circle at a good width, offset them a bit. By the time you bring in the foliage for the grass, it actually won't look too bad. And we got a hill there. Piece. And it's up to you guys whether you want to move the spline that you got or save it. And I'm going to leave it right there for now and just hide it. Actually, I need to create a transform group. So Control G. I'm going to rename it right here in attributes under transform. And I'm just going to simply name it splines. And that way I can put all my splines in it. And click on it, Control V. And then if I leave everything at 0, 0 and just move the splines and you never move the parent transform, they'll always be in the same spot. So just make sure you're clicking on the right piece to move when you want to move it. And then you just come down here, visibility, click that off. It hides it. You click off of it. You don't even see it. You won't see it in game. It won't affect you or anything. And next one, create another spline. And middle mouse button up the splines. Boom, done. Control B. And like I said, it doesn't matter where you move these to. And you'll see what I mean by it gets weird and crazy. And that would do some messed up stuff. And then click again and insert. This one actually isn't that bad. Neither was the other one, but if you click Control B, left mouse button, then you can hold and move it, and Control B snaps it to the ground also. So that's why I use it. So it'll bring you right into the right height, like down here. I'm just going to click Control B again. Hold their mouse button. I'll hold on to it. And since I was saving everything, all I got to do is come up to scripts and click paint by spline. Got my spline selected. Gonna run through and paint it. Make sure I like everything positioned right. It messes stuff up on the end all the time. And I like that. Now let's run scripts again, and we're going to do set terrain by spline. And you've seen that little bump it did there. Actually, I think I am going to open that up and put ditches in, just so it gets rid of this stuff for me. Yeah. Let's see how it smooths out once. If I like how that does it. Couple of the couple of the weeds, and you could see how it lays a little bit better, and with you smoothing it, how that helps out a bit better, because it actually moves the grass around like that. And as long as you don't fully paint that edge in with grass, you can hide it pretty well, kind of like that, as long as you don't leave it blocky. It's not going to show up that bad in game. And I'm just going to put it like this. And then usually what I do is keep watching it. You'll see it move. Do it to your liking. And bring it up into an intersection. And then, like I said, just paint this side quick. Snap back to the level. You could always sink down like this too and see it. You see the other side of the ditch right there. In the setting terrain by spline will actually create ditches for you. But this area is so flat, I don't want ditches to be dug all the way through. So that is strictly the only reason I'm not doing ditches in it as of right now. But I might come back and do it again. We will see. It's just when you get the real world DEM, it moves to the nearest pixel, so to speak, and everything else is the same way. So it's gonna leave it all blocky for you, and then you just smooth it out. And the only reason I didn't smooth out the entire map before I did it is because it was so detailed. And then, like I said before, I am going to bring some things in. I think I'm just going to bring in the mods I got. So there's my spline, visibility off. You can do it really easy by just clicking the visibility there too, but I don't want them all coming up. So I'm going to save quick because you never know what Giants Editor is going to do and when it's going to crash. And then I'm also going to now file import and you can import it right out of the actual game itself if you really wanted to. But I'm going to go to the mods. They have to be unzipped in order to see the i3D file. And where was that? Cowshed. It was actually this one right here. And then I want to be on the actual barn itself. This will bring in the barn, and you control B it to snap it to where you're at. That was the wrong thing. That's just the camera. I actually want this one. Tell you the truth. What did I do here? I think it's F7. No. It's right click camera. That's the one. Easy way to do the PDA. And it's not quite ready for that part of it yet. I still want to separate these fields into smaller ones like this. And I got to clean up the edges so they don't look so bad. Maybe I'll leave a couple of big ones. But those fields are ginormous. So then we'll come back into here. That's one. That's the one we were on. And move this barn around to where I like it. Which I think I'm going to go here. We'll rotate it 90 degrees. Easy way to snap it to 90 is just right there. And pretty much what this is going to get me is a way to build the farm, ground, and everything around it. And then we'll bring it in through the placeables so we get the gates working and everything. Where's his? They do not have that unzipped yet. Let's come back here. Mods. Oh, that's the wrong one. 22 mods. And extract all. There you go. You can just minimize that stuff. Now you just come back to import. And same thing here. All I'm doing with this commodity shed is literally bringing it in for a placeholder where I'll snap it in through the placeable system and make it read off of that, so everything will be here. I just need to pretty much cut the hill out of this field and bring the terrain up to where I need it. Click back on the cow shed. And the easy way to do that, click back on your terrain editing. I come down to replace. If you get that pretty close to where you want it, get 1 point pretty close to where you want it. And the center stick you see there is where it's going to read off of. Control R, right mouse button is to replace, and it'll take everything just like in game to the leveling tool, except for this one you don't have to double click and start where you last leveled. It keeps it all on that same elevation. Bring it around here just like this. You can even make your tool bigger. Make sure you're getting it all even under the building. And usually I go a bit wider to make sure I get it all. So that way when you come back and hit smooth, it does a really nice job and doesn't cut back under your buildings again. And then with 9.2 it does it really nice. You can click into this view and see where you're at, and that's what I like to see, is it up a bit higher. And then we can move this terrain around and this building around. So then escape again. Oh, come on, where's the green arrow? There it is. Bring it a bit closer. There'll be a hay shed right in here somewhere. Do quite a bit more smoothing on it. And then, yeah, you just bring in your field again. Oh yeah, I gotta bring it right over to textures because it's pointed to grass. Go back up to terrain detail. Control R on it. Paint that back in. We'll get the edges here quick. Also, come up to square. And then even if you get really picky with it, you can run pretty straight edges. Take that back to subtract. And I think I'll cut it pretty close there like that. And we will eventually make an area for a silage bunker too. And I'm going to snap her down right there. Gotta shorten up my square. Alright, so now that we're there, I'm just going to save it once and we are going to get the game fired up. I gotta remember. Nope, wrong one. We'll get out of Elm Creek. Close my script editor as long as I don't crash Giants editor. Minimize all that. Alright. Game is firing up and move this stuff. Okay.